So this service worker thing, it's pretty good. I mean, it's really good. But all it is a simple JavaScript file that sits between you and network requests. It's a type of web worker, meaning it runs separately from your page. It isn't visible to the user, it can't access the DOM, but it does control pages. And by control I mean it intercepts requests as the browser makes them. From there you can do, well, whatever you want really. You can send the request off to the network as per usual, or you can skip the network, go to some kind of cache, or create a custom random response, or any combination of those things. You register for a service worker like this, giving the location of your service worker script. It returns a promise, so you get callbacks for success and failure. If you're unfamiliar with promises, don't worry, we'll guide you through the bits you need to know throughout the course. If you call register when the service worker's already registered, that's fine. The browser won't re-register it, it'll just return a promise for the existing registration. You can also provide a scope. The service worker will control any page whose URL begins with the scope, and it'll ignore any that don't. So for this example, the service worker will control a page at this URL, and also anything with a deeper URL, but not anything with a shallower URL. The service worker doesn't get to control this one, nor will it control an unrelated URL. But be aware that this service worker won't control this URL, as it doesn't have the trailing slash, so it counts as a shallower URL. You can have multiple service workers with different scopes, which is really handy for something like GitHub pages, where multiple projects share the same origin. Scopes let you have a different service worker for each project. The default scope is determined by the location of the service worker script. It's basically the path the script sits in. Usually you don't need to set the scope, just put the service worker script in the right place. But what happens within the service worker? Well, you listen for particular events. And just like other JavaScript events, you can react to them or even prevent the default and do your own thing. We'll introduce these events one by one as the course progresses. But what about browser support? This site, Is Service Worker Ready, has a breakdown of support by features, and there's a link to that in the presenter notes. Every browser has expressed some interest in implementing, but as of 2015, Service Worker is only supported in Chrome and Opera, with Firefox support soon to land. But just because a technology isn't universally supported doesn't mean you should wait. The Service Worker is entirely progressive enhancement friendly, meaning we can use it in browsers that support it without disrupting users of older browsers. They just won't get the benefits. In fact, using this stuff today to improve the user experience will encourage other browsers to implement it, so their users get the benefit too. To use Service Worker in a safe, progressive enhancing way, just make sure you wrap code in a simple feature detect. If a browser doesn't support service workers, navigator.serviceworker will be undefined, which is a falsy value, so all the browsers will skip everything within the if statement, and avoid trying to call functions that aren't defined. Right, that's most of the nitty-gritty details covered, so let's all hold hands, chant, and summon our resident quizmaster, Mike Wales. Mike, can you hear me from beyond the Atlantic?
I certainly can. It's time to get quizzical.